In this video, we're going to be assessing sociological explanations of female patterns in offending, victimization, and punishment. So, the Home Office suggests that women are accountable for 19% of known offences. The peak age of offending for females is 15, whilst for males it's 19, and females generally commit less serious crime. So the figures suggest that crime and deviance is mainstream, as Son has suggested, because there is a low level of recorded female crime, the male dominance of sociology, and mainstream theories like Marxism. However, the problem with official statistics is suggested by Campbell, who used a self-report study and found that the ratio of female to male crime was 1 to 1.2. This suggests that official statistics may underrepresent female crime. However, the problem with Campbell and the use of self-report studies is that they are invalid because women may lie or exaggerate to show off. For example, Gold found that 20% of people lie on self-report studies. Also, the study may record deviant but non-criminal acts. Also, many female crimes could be victimless or invisible, for example, prostitution. In terms of punishment, Pollock has suggested the chivalry thesis, which is when police and courts treat women more kindly so they are less likely to be arrested, charged and found guilty. Most positions in the criminal justice system are filled by men, who still tend to hold traditional views of women being gentle and caring, so are less likely to see them as criminals. They are more likely to give women a warning or caution rather than arrest and prosecute them. This suggests that the statistics are inaccurate, as they don't take into account of many crimes that are actually committed by women. This ties in with statistics from self-report studies that show much higher figures for female crime than official ones. However, if we assume that the figures are accurate, then there are many theorists that suggest and support this idea. So functionalists like Wilson believe that due to the socialization process, females are brought up differently because they're brought up to be more caring and less violent, whereas men are brought up more competitively. Also, feminists like Son believe that single women are less likely to go to pubs and clubs due to the patriarchal controls that prevent them from going into public places. Also, Son believes in the feminist ideology, which means that the family controls women due to the domestic expectations, which gives them less opportunity to break the law. Another feminist Mac Robbie believes that it's because of the bedroom culture of girls, it means that females are more likely to meet each other inside the home as men dominate the outside world. Also, Marxist feminists like Box believe that females have fewer opportunities to commit white-collar crime as they don't have as high status in employment. The patterns of female crime has changed as there's been a rise of female crime. This has been suggested by the functionalist Adler, who supports the idea of the liberation thesis. This means that as women gain more confidence and their role in society changes, there will be an increase in their crime rate as they will move away from their traditional offences. There's been numerous evidence for this. For example, the male to female crime rates have gone from 7 to 1 to 6 to 1 since the 1950s, and more women are involved in crimed robbery, and there's been an increased number of girl gangs. However, Adler can be criticised because female crime was rising before the 1950s, long before the period of liberalisation. And also, most female criminals are the working class, who are the least affected by liberation. Also, Carlin believes that failure of patriarchal society to deliver promised deals removes controls that prevent women from offending. The class deal is the idea that women who work will get a decent standard of living, and the gender deal is the promise of emotional and economic rewards from family life if they follow a conventional gender role. However, it sees women's behaviour controlled by external forces, and the sample Carlin used was small, so it's not representative. Another reason why the rise of female crime has happened is suggested by feminist Heidenson, who believes that more equality will reduce some of the crimes committed by women because some of them were committed out of frustration and exploitation. Campbell also has seen the rise of female gangs, and Campbell recorded conversations with members of 3 gangs and found that they had assertive names, had a degree of sisterhood, and were possibly involved in violence. However, the rise of female gangs can be criticised, especially in Campbell's study, because they wanted traditionally female things and their actions were dictated by men. The patterns of male crime has also been changed, and the example of Messerschmitt can be used to demonstrate this. Messerschmitt believes that some crime by men is a reaction to the pressures of masculinity, as most men want to have hegemonic masculinity, but many men cannot achieve this in a conventional way, like doing tough jobs that demonstrate their physical strength. Middle-class men can still have a good job, make decisions, and be in charge of women, but working-class men may turn to crime because of their frustration. Middle-class men may assert their hegemonic masculinity by committing white-collar crime. Also, Winlow studied bouncers in Sunderland and found that the service provided a combination of legal employment and lucrative criminal opportunities and the means of men expressing their masculinity. Men used violence to display masculinity and physical assets in order to look the part. Winlow's study is useful because it demonstrates how the expression of masculinity changes within the move from a modern industrial society to a postmodern deindustrialized one. The problem with Messerschmitt's study is that you could question whether masculinity is an expression of male crime or just a description of male offenders. For example, masculinity explains crime by males because they are crimes committed by males. Also, it doesn't explain why all men don't use crime to accomplish masculinity, and Messerschmitt overworks the concept of masculinity to explain male crimes. So, in terms of female victimization, 1/4 of women will suffer from some form of domestic violence in their relationships, but 2/3 of victims will not report it or seek help from any source because they're afraid the violence will get worse, they are ashamed, or they see it as a private matter. Radical feminists would argue that domestic violence is seen as a crucial way in which men control women, and so it reproduces patriarchy. Research suggests that women are attacked when seen as not playing their stereotyped role properly, for example, when dinner is late. So in conclusion, other issues like class are important, so it's hard to separate them, and there is the danger of ignoring other factors like ethnic minorities or class and age.